me and my buddy were going to go to court on Tuesday. And the easiest thing for me and my buddy to do is anybody who tries to open their mouth in court, I'm going to say, have you been sworn in?
Yeah, I tried that too. Nobody wanted to be sworn in.
So when nobody was sworn in, did they have a court reporter? Was somebody keeping the the recording of the?
Yes. Well, yes, I assume so. I didn't ask if it was actually being recorded, but there is a person there.
Okay, well, I guess I have to get a copy of the transcript. To me, what I would do is I'd get a copy of the transcript, and I'd file an appeal, and then I would say, on this transcript, I'd leave the transcript, one transcript like original, and I'd make a copy of that transcript, and I'd redact everything that the other party said, and I'd explain it to the appellate court. Nobody came in, and nobody sworn in under oath or affirmation that anything they were saying was true, that any evidence and facts that they were bringing into, they refused to be held liable for. They just brought hearsay, conjecture, and speculation before a tribunal, before a court. So in law, you say in New Hampshire law, for something to be true, just for somebody to be able to press the record, to make a recording, they have to be sworn in. And like I said, I'm sure there's some sort of citation there in New Hampshire. It's just not only do I believe that's true, but under the New Hampshire Bar Code Association, section whatever 3, subsection 17 clearly says that any evidence, facts that come before a court must be sworn to be recognized as true, must come forth through either oath or affirmation. I'm sure it's just called a canon code. So I'm sure there's some sort of canon code in New Hampshire that says all facts and evidence that are going to be presented to a court must come through, under oath or affirmation. If it does not come through oath or affirmation, it's considered hearsay and inadmissible. So you see what I'm saying? I would say not only do I believe it's true, but under the canon codes of New Hampshire, it's also true.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I do. I'm just wondering if this 73A that they use to disregard all of that in the family court.
That's fine. Like I said, you tell them, you wished to evoke the common law. The family court judge refused to recognize your claim in court. Yeah. So if you already had a claim in a court, the judge could just say, I'm not going to hear it. That's fine. You can't make anybody do anything. Just like I'm sure your husband realized with you, he couldn't make you do anything. Mm-hmm. Just like I said, so a husband and a wife, it's just like your kids. I can imagine you trying to make your kids do something. You try to make your kids do something nowadays, you're going to jail. So everybody knows you can't make anybody do anything. So the judge just says, well, I don't want to hear it at this time. And then you just, give them a notice of error. I don't know if you guys did that. I don't know if you and Gus did that, any kind of notice of error.
Yeah, it was denied.
Okay, no, it was okay. It was okay. If you did a notice of error, what was the notice of error about? What did it say?
Let's see. Got my paperwork right here. Actually, be easier on the computer.
Because this is what I was saying to my friend earlier. He says, can you sue a judge? I said, the only way you can sue a judge is the judge acts so out of character and the judge is so derelict in his duty, then you could sue the judge. So like I said, if the judge knows that the common law is the supreme law of this land, and the judge realizes there's a claim before the court, and the judge decides, you know what, I'm not going to hear it. Well, no, you have a duty to hear this. You have an obligation. You're derelict in your duty. I'm going to hold you liable. So then what you would do is you would sue Susie or Bob. It'd be you versus Susie or Susie Johnson in your local county court. And I wouldn't even bring up the fact that who the wrongdoer is. I wouldn't even say there was a judge. I would just say I claim Susie did me wrong. It's derelict in her duty. She's a public servant, and she refused to perform her service as she subscribed to, that she swore to. that she agreed to. She's in breach of contract. She's my servant. It's just like a maid or a butler. And because they failed to provide a service as my butler or my maid or my nursemaid, my defibrillator machine, the batteries were low, or my my medicine for my diabetes, the machine wasn't functioning properly. They're my servant, and they failed in their duty to perform a function in which they ascribed and said that they would. You see what I'm saying?
In order to do that, I need to be able to get a court at the superior court.
No, just a local county court, just like your maid. Whatever your maid did you wrong. Are you telling me you're going to take your maid to a superior court, or you're just going to take your maid down to a local county, your lawnmower man, down to a local county court?
So that would be the same courthouse then where the family court is.
Well, I don't know. How do I know? I don't live there.
Yeah, that's where it would be for me.
Okay, well, obviously you wouldn't be suing in family court. You'd be in the same public building.
In the same building, right.
Same venue, big deal. That venue wears many hats. Like I said, a dance hall is a venue. Like a dance venue, you've heard of dance venue?
Yeah.
Just because it's a dance venue doesn't mean you can't have a waltz one day and you do a minuet the next day, and then you do a polka, and then you do a disco the following day. Just because it's a dance hall venue doesn't mean it only can do one thing. It wears many hats. So it's a lot of fun. It's just like when I went down and I sued a lady who interfered in my right to access the court, a court clerk lady. When I went to sue Susie, they were going, on Precipice Day, they were going to try to say that, well, you don't have enough to sue her on. And once the judge and I started talking, and I said, don't you remember me? And he looked at me. He says, what? I said, remember I explained to you a couple of years ago the difference between legal and lawful in open court? He's like, holy cow. And I could see his eyes light up like a pinball. It's like, I remember you. He's like, I'm going to recuse myself from the case because I know this clerk lady. And she's a good friend of mine. I said, look, if she's my next door neighbor, she's probably the greatest lady on planet Earth. I'm not saying she's not a great lady. I'm saying I'm sure she's the sweetest, gentlest, nicest woman on planet Earth. I'm saying as a court clerk, she's derelict in her duty. And I'm going to hold her liable for failing to carry out her duty. Because for her failing to carry out her duty and her obligation and responsibilities to me, this caused me loss. And I'm going to claim compensation so she doesn't do it again. You see how simple it is?
Yeah.
I guarantee they would say, oh, you can't sue a court clerk, you can't sue a magistrate, you can't sue. Oh, really? I'm not. I'm suing Susie. Susie was derelict in her duty. Susie is a public servant. I'm the public. She did not serve me. I want compensation. End of story. And everybody realized, and I couldn't get the case heard in the county where Susie worked because every judge who was assigned said they had to recuse themselves because they said they'd be unfair to me because Susie's their friend. I said, no. I said, look, I'm sure you're a good judge. You're a fair and impartial judge. And if you were derelict in your duty, you certainly wouldn't want me to turn around and sue you, too. So I said, I'm sure you're going to be a more than fair and just judge. And besides, it's going to be up to the jury to decide. It's not going to be for you to decide. The jury's going to determine the law and the facts. You're just going to sit there as a referee. You're just going to sit there as a witness. You're not going to control the flow of the court. This is my case. I'm going to control it.
Well, that's what I haven't been able to do
like I said, just because you don't have enough experience or enough practice or whatever, you don't understand how this works. So that's what I say to people all the time. I say, like with Gus, hopefully Gus will help me do DVDs. I'm not sure. But like I said, at least it's getting close to winter time now, and I'm realizing I'm spending more time inside the building. And I'm just going to actually just do a flow chart and say if the judge does this, do this. If the judge does that, do this. If the judge fails to do this, do this. And I'm just going to make a big flow chart.
We're working on that ourselves, actually, that very thing. Yeah, because we want to do some mock trials and do a flow chart just like that so that we can, prepare for our hearings coming up.
Right, because it's like I've been doing this for many years, and like I said, I've been studying this for many, many years, and it's easy for me. And then when I realized when you guys are trying to do it, it's blowing up in your faces. And I was like, oh, you know, I mean, one guy's got it down good, some guy named Mo in England, and he's like a carbon copy of me. It's like, it was hysterical. What he did in court is what I would do in court. It's like, wow, I'm rubbing off on somebody, and somebody is, it's like, thank God I don't have to be there. Thank God somebody else is there to perform like I do, say what I do. You know, would you basically be like, say he's a smart aleck? No, he's being literal. Everything is expressed, nothing's implied. I mean, it's deadly accurate, and it drives them nuts because it's minimal words, and it's right to the point, and they're not allowing them to have any leeway. There's no wiggle room. 2-3 words, boom, done. That's it. I have nothing else to say. It's like you're derelict in your duty. There is a common law claim before this court. Are you not going to hear the matter? No. Can you give me the point in law of why you won't? Can you give me the conclusion of law, the statement of facts, why you won't do it? No, you won't. Oh, you won't? Okay. Then I guess we're going to have to ask your supervisor why they failed to train, discipline, and monitor you properly. Because you have an obligation and duty to perform. You don't wish to perform? No. Good. That's lovely. What's the name? Susie Johnson? Okay, Susie Johnson. You refuse to, perform your duties and obligations as that of a magistrate or a judge? Okay, that's fine. Not a problem. Is there anything else we need to do today then, Susie? Seeing how, you're just going to do whatever you wish to do. Not what's required of you, but whatever you wish to do. Is there anything else you would like to say today, Susie, before I go home? Because obviously you're not acting like a judge, and I'm not going to call you judge.
And, actually, mine isn't a judge. He's a referee.
Well, regardless, whatever she is. What I'm trying to say, everybody says, well, Carl, that sounds like, look, I look at every judge, like I said, like one of the judges who was going to hear the clerk case with me wore a suit and tie when he talked to me on Precipice Day. The next judge that I went to talk to, he was wearing shoes with no socks. So, see, when I talk to a judge a certain way, I'll talk to him, one judge this way, and I'll talk to another judge that way. So people try to call me up on my show or during the week say, "But Carl, you said that you'd go after Susie Johnson, you'd be slapping her around in court." That's right, maybe. If Susie gives me an attitude, I'm going to give her an attitude. If she's polite, I'm going to be polite. It all depends, like I said, because every situation is unique. Every judge that I'm looking at, even Bali would tell you, the first judge, I only put 2 or 3 sentences into the court. That first judge knew exactly what I was doing. Me and him were 100% on the same page. The next judge, me and him were about 85% on the same page. So I had to talk to him different than the first one. The first one, I didn't have to say anything at all. The first one knew exactly what I was doing, knew exactly what those 2 or 3 sentences meant. He was dead on. He knew exactly where I was going. I didn't need to stand up and explain anything. And he explained to the other side exactly what he's holding in his hand. Like, you realize when I'm holding my hand. You know what they wish. You know what's going to happen. You know it has never been successful in the history of England. You do know this. So the judge knew exactly where I was going. That there is no way in the world the Crown could ever win when there's a claim of a man before the court. Like he said in open court, he said, in the history of England, the Crown has never been successful before the Queen. It has never happened. And he was like, and the Crown prosecutors, we will prevail. We will prevail on this. And the judge's like, no, you won't. Not if they know what they're doing. You won't. So that's the whole thing. Do you know what you're doing when you evoke like Queen's Bench or when you evoke the common law? Do you know what you're doing? And if you don't, if you're only 50% there, 80% there, 99% there, you ain't going to win. It ain't going to happen. So to me, it's simple. But to other people, it's not. Because I say the bare minimum, like that guy Mo, it's simple for him now. Because he's saying very simple, basic things. Like he said when he went to the court with the one man, he told the man, stay right next to my side. Don't let them separate you from me. Walk with me arm in arm. And then when the judge said, which one of you is like Mr. McGillicuddy? And neither one answered. So the judge looked at him and said, "Are you Mr. McGillicuddy?" He says, "I am a man, and I'm here to aid and assist my fellow man." And the judge said, "No, you're not." He said, "Point in law, where A, do you believe I'm not a man? And B, what makes you believe that I'm not here to aid and assist my fellow man?" So he threw it right back at the judge. He said, the judge said, "Are you Mr. McGillicuddy?" "No, I'm a man, and I'm here to aid and assist my fellow man." And the judge said, "No, you're not." Like, "No, I'm not." "What? I'm not a man? What do I look like, an aardvark? What do you mean I'm not here to aid and assist my fellow man? Of course I am. What else would I be here for? To take a walk? I got nothing better to do?" See, so the judge was knocked backwards instantly because of an answer like that, just like I would do. I'd have the same, "Oh, you're being a wise guy." Wise guy. Intelligent, wise. One of the three wise men. No, I'm not one of the wise men. No. So what do you mean by me being wise? Wise and being what, sir? He's like, "Well, you know what I mean." "No, I don't know what you mean." "Why don't you tell me what you mean?" "I don't know what's going on in your brain. Why don't you tell me?" "Am I a wise guy?" "A guy? Possibly. Possibly. I've been known as guy before." "No, you know what? I think I'm just going to settle with the title of man." "Yeah, I'm a man." "No, I don't wish to be a wise guy at this time. I might at some other, future opportunity. But no, I'm very happy with just being a man. Thank you anyway." And I just keep messing with the poor judge. But like I said, it's almost like I'm a stand-up comedian and somebody's heckling me. And that's basically what you got to do when you go to court. You've got to know your routine down so well that if the judge tries to heckle you, you're like, "You know what? This is my show. I got the stage. I'm calling the shots. I'm making the jokes. I'm saying what time of day it is. Not the heckler." And that's what's happening to you guys. You guys are being heckled off the stage.
Yeah.
Like I said, Paul Barley, like I said, he kept going over and over and over saying, "I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a man." It's like, oh my God. He's like, "Okay, you already told that joke. Why the chicken cross the road?" Why the chicken cross the road? Like, "Okay, you already said, now do another joke. Now knock down that heckler. That guy's, now he's coming at you with this, using him with that." It's like, okay. It's just like I said, I guarantee you if you guys tried to be stand-up comedians, it would be the same thing. You'd say, "Oh my God, I got heckled the first time. The guy made fun of me and I didn't know where to go, so I panicked. I froze. And the heckler took over the show." It's like, that's right. So it takes a lot of practice to be able to smash a heckler. I mean, I love it when you watch a comedy show and you see the guy doing a comedy routine or the woman doing a comedy routine. It's a pretty funny show, but it's super funny when a heckler stands up. I mean, if I was a stand-up comedian, I'd actually hire somebody to be a heckler just so I could smash them, because it's a lot more fun for the audience to see something like, say, improv, just like off the cuff. It's a lot more fun to watch somebody just do it from the seat of their pants than to watch a comedy routine. It's like, okay, I've seen this comedy routine yesterday. I saw it on TV last week. Okay, it's the same routine. Yeah. So when a heckler jumps up and says something, now the comedian's got to take it in a whole new direction. Now what does the comedian do? This guy just interrupted his routine. Now what do I do? And it's the same thing with the judge. The judge is going to go there and try to mess with you, try to, mess with your routine.
That comes very natural to some people, and others it does take a lot of practice, and that means getting back into a courtroom where you don't want to be.
Right. Well, like I said, that's why, like I said, I got to start doing some DVDs saying the judge does this, the judge does that. This is where you go. This is the flow chart. He says this, make a joke. Just like you say, this is what you do. And like I said, a lot of people, who call me up, like I said, what I'm probably going to do is do some like DVDs like that, and then have people say, call me up and say, "Hey, Carl, I watch your DVDs. Now, when I went to court, the judge did this. Well, the judge said that. I was like, that's good. I said, let's make a revised edition to that DVD. I'll put it like a supplemental, like DVD. It's like, okay, now we've had somebody go out there in the real world, and they've encountered this. So, on the first DVD, you see how I was explaining to you. Right, now, this is what you need to do. Because, like I said, there's no way in the world I could tell you every single scenario that could possibly happen and depends on the temperament of the judge, the age of the judge, the race, the sex of the judge. Everybody's going to have their own way of judging. Everybody, we're not dealing with a machine yet. The judges out there, we're not putting an IBM punch card in, and the judge is a machine and saying, okay, this is the fine, this is the penalty for that code violation. So we're dealing with human beings still who have emotions, who are, they see how you're dressed. They're going to treat you a different way than somebody wearing a three-piece suit and tie, or somebody's wearing flip-flops, and a beach hat. It's going to be almost the same exact case, almost the same exact scenarios, the same exact, controversy. But because you're wearing a three-piece suit and tie, the judge is going to rule in your favor. Because this guy's wearing a beach hat, this guy's going to lose. To me, it's ridiculous and absurd. But like I said, to try to figure out every single combination that could possibly happen in an open court, why the judge ruled for this man but not for this man, is almost impossible. So what I try to do is just knock down the probability of what's the odds of the judge going this way or that way. And if I see a judge going this way, I'm gonna go this way. If I see him going that way, I'm gonna go that way. So like I said, when I went to Chicago and I was helping a guy in Chicago court, it was very simple. The judge said to him, "Who put this notice into the court? Who put this notice into this case? You better take this out immediately." The guy didn't know what to do. The guy looked back at me and it's like, tell him, practicing law from the bench, like practicing law from the bench. And the guy was like so scared out of his mind, he just like looked around and he said to the guy's attorney, "Did you put this notice in the court? Did you make the claim like a common law claim? Did you put this?" And the judge was like, "Not me." And the guy looked at him. He said, Did you do it?" And the guy just like looked at him. He didn't say a word. He said, "You better remove this from the case." I was like, "Judge, is the judge practicing law from the bench? Are you giving me legal advice? Are you giving me advice from the bench? Are you telling me to do something?" So like I said, but if you don't understand, if the judge tells you to do something, it's like, wait a second, are you giving me legal advice? Are you my counselor? Are you my attorney? No, I'm telling you to do something. Okay, then are you communicating a threat? If I do not wish to do such an act, are you going to hurt me? Are you going to put me in a cage? Are you going to fine me, penalize? Are you going to take my property from me? Are you going to take my money? Why are you ordering me? Are you ordering me to take that out of the case? Put it in the form of writing and order me. And then the judge in Chicago said to him, he's like, "Are you trying to practice law? You got a law license?" And I was hoping the judge was going to say that to me. Because all I would said to the judge is like, practicing law without a license. Let me see. I'm in Cook County, Illinois. You know what? Here, let me ask his lawyer next to him. Hey, lawyer next to him. Yeah. You got a law license? What? You got a license on you? He'd be like, well, no. It's like, that's right. Nobody has a license in the state of Illinois, do they, to practice law? That's ridiculous. Because law is just an opinion. It changes all the time. There's no set rules in law. Law is fluid and dynamic. Law is just based on opinions. So how would you obtain a license for an opinion? So to have an opinion in the state of Illinois, I'd have to have a license to have an opinion. To practice opinion, to opine, I'd have to have a license. Does anybody have a license? No, Judge. You know what? I don't think there's any single lawyer. I think the prosecutor. He's a lawyer, right? Yeah. Does he have a license? Well, no. Well, then I guess we better just close down this public courthouse until we get everybody licensed here. Because there's nobody running around this building with a license, so I guess this is a very, this is, what is illegal, Judge? Is it unlawful? What, people should get in trouble for practicing law without a license? Is that what you're trying to say? So I guess everybody in this building should all go to jail? Is that what you're trying to say? All the lawyers should go to jail right now? So like I said, just keep messing with the judge. But it all depends. Some judges are sweet, some judges are, and it was funny, the lawyer for this guy, when we walked out of the courtroom, the judge, the lawyer guy said to me, he started laughing his ass off with me on the hallway. He says, "I've been before this judge for like 20 years. I have never seen this judge so mad. I have never seen him raise his voice. I have never seen him totally lose his cool like he did today. I have never seen that." He says, "What a lot of fun that was." And me and the judge, the lawyer, were laughing like crazy. And the poor guy was like, "Well, wait a second, this isn't funny." I said, "Look, I don't know how to explain this to you. You haven't even been charged with a crime yet. And the judge knows it, but the judge wants you to plead guilty. Guilty to what? You haven't been charged yet. That's what we put into the court, and that's why the judge is going ballistic. You'd love to plead. You'd love to plead guilty or not guilty. You'd love to plead, but we're just waiting for the charge. You haven't been charged yet. I mean, he flew me all the way up to Chicago, and then when I got there, I read the case file. I said, something doesn't make sense to me. I said, you got a lawyer? He says, oh, yeah, we got a really good one. I said, okay, good. I said, because something doesn't make sense here. I said, what? I don't see a charge. So he brought one to the lawyer's office, and we were talking to the lawyer. I said to the lawyer, a very simple question. I said, I'm sure you charge this man an awful lot of money because you got this big, beautiful building right here by the river. I'm sure you're charging this man quite a lot of money. But he hasn't been charged yet with anything, has he? And the guy was like, well, no. And the guy who brought me up there said, yes, I am. I'm charged with like manufacturing narcotics, whatever. And I said, no, you're not. He says, yes, I am. And the guy who brought me up said, yes, I am. Yes, I am. I said, see, I said to his attorney, I said, see what I'm talking about? I can't get through to this guy. He said, for some reason, he won't believe me. You're his attorney, right? He paid you a shitload of money, right? Yeah. Tell him, has he been charged with a crime? And he says, no, you have not been charged with a crime. And he argued with his attorney, but he had no problem arguing with me because I wasn't, I guess, a fancy pants attorney. I said, but I could read the case file. There's no charges here. I said, I'm going to write something really simple for when we go to court tomorrow. And it's going, and it should, and I kind of figured the judge was going to have a reaction. And that guy's like, man, I've never seen a judge react like that. He's like, boy, he's pissed. I said, yeah, because I caught him with his pants down. How are you going to rule? How are you going to do anything when there's no charges yet? What's going on? What is this? Certainly this isn't court. What's going on? So like I said, most people don't understand, especially when it comes to any kind of drugs. There's this one dad and daughter I'm helping out with in California, and his name is Steve, and the daughter's name, I'm not sure, I don't remember the daughter's name off the top of my head. I don't know if they're listening, if they're going to call up or anything to me tonight. But she was scared out of her mind when it first started, this cocaine nonsense she was going through. And she said that she was listening, her dad, to my show and trying to figure out what I do. And the first time she went to court, she said she just got clobbered. And then the second time she called up and she told me she did pretty good, and I told her a couple of mistakes she made. And then now she's saying, I can't wait to go back into court. They said they dropped it down from a felony to a misdemeanor just to get me to plead out and just go away. And she's like, hell no, I'm fighting this to the bitter end. Because I'm not pleading nothing. It's my body, and I'll do what I want. I said, well, God bless you. I said, because you know how many guys that I work with, that they drop it from a felony to a misdemeanor, they'll just take the misdemeanor. I said, F them. It's your body. You want to do coke, or you want to do antifreeze, or you want to do, put maple syrup into your veins. I don't care. Whatever you want to do. You're over 18. You're responsible for your own actions. Do as you wish. And hell with any judge or prosecutor or any state or society that tries to tell you what you should or should not do. F them. I said, you know what? I said I should go into court one time and just take like a saline solution or whatever they call it, or glucose, and I should stick it in a syringe and wrap my arm up with a tourniquet and just start injecting my veins with glucose. But pretend it's heroin or something like that. Like maybe like a white powder, like sugar, like heroin, and stick it on a spoon and melt it, and start shooting up right there in the courtroom. And let somebody come over to me and says, you can't do that. So what do you mean I can't do that? I got the tourniquet, I got the kit, I got the syringe, I got the needle, I got the spoon. Of course I can do it. Watch, it's easy. And start injecting myself. It's like you're under arrest. I don't need arrest. I don't need arrest from what? I'm not tight. As a matter of fact, as soon as this stuff goes in my veins, I'll be good to go for another 24 hours. I don't need arrest. So I'd love it for them to jump my shit, try to charge me with all kinds of wrongdoing, And then I say to them, wait a second, it's my body. Where does it say that I can't put what I want to put into my body? Where does it say? Where does it say the law says that a man can't put anything he wishes into his body? Where? Where does it say that? Well, it looked like you were putting heroin in. Oh, I guess you had it went down to the lab and you got it tested. What did you find out? It's glucose. Yeah, that's right. It's glucose. And does a man need a prescription for glucose, sugar? Well, no. Well, then why'd you do what you did? Well, we were trying to protect you from yourself. Oh, you were trying to be my mom. I see. And you don't think I'm over 18 and I'm functional, and for some reason you don't think I could carry out my own business. Is that what you believe? You believe I'm incompetent to handle my own day-to-day daily affairs? Oh, so you want to tell me what I can and cannot do? Good. If you want to feel responsible and tell me what to do in my day-to-day affairs, good. From now on, you're going to pay all my medical expenses. You're going to pay my rent. You're going to pay my light bill. You're going to pay everything for the rest of my life. That's how we're going to roll this. You want to play mom and dad? You want to tell me what I can and cannot do? Good. You know what? I figured I might live another 40 years. $30,000 a year. I'm going to sue you for like $1.2 million. That way, all my expenses are covered because you want to play mom and dad. You want to be mom and dad? You're going to pay. Just like mom and dad has to pay. You're going to pay me. You're going to pay to maintain support and everything else with me. You want to play mom and dad? Yeah, fine. So that's what I told people. I said it'd be fun. When I got some time to kill, just go to court and do some silly shit like that. Just let them arrest me. And that'll be it. You know, I'll start setting like a precedent like that, saying, just because a man sticks something in his arm, you have no right to jump him and interfere with him and touch him and stop him or even talk to him while he's doing it. Don't even talk to me. I'm concentrating here. I want to make sure I hit that vein or artery, whatever you stick it in. Don't distract me. I'm busy over here. You guys just do whatever you're doing over there. I'm busy over here.